right, welcome to another episode of Rambling with Seven. I'm your host, Seven. Duh. I am sick. So there was no episode last week. I'm supposed to have a bunch of episodes saved up so that when I'm not feeling well, I'm not going 2-3 weeks without an episode. Has that happened? No. Am I currently sick as a dog? Still recording? Yeah. But I didn't record last week. And so we had to do something this week. Oh, but happy Juneteenth, people. This episode should be going out on Juneteenth. Yep, tomorrow. Because it won't be edited. My editor will probably trim the ends for the sound. And then probably quit on me. Yep. But in my defense, like I said, I've been sick. As a dog. You know, you would think that with your editor being your brother that you would get some type of grace, but no. Anywho, so happy Juneteenth. Juneteenth, for those that don't know, let me go to Google so that I can tell you what they say, and then I'll tell you what it actually is. So it's a holiday celebrated on June 19th to commemorate the emancipation of enslaved people in the U.S. The holiday was first celebrated in Texas, where on that date in 1865, in the aftermath of the Civil War, enslaved people were declared free under the terms of the 1862 Emancipation Proclamation. Basically, what had happened was this dude, I forget what his name is. And it's an important part of history, so, should know. But dude hopped up, told the enslaved people, hey, y'all are free. He let them know that they were free. And dipped out because the Southerners were like, what the fuck? So, yeah. And this holiday has so much, I guess, for Black people, it is a big holiday. I've always known about Juneteenth. I think I may have mentioned previously that I was in the Nation of Islam growing up. So, all the blackity black stuff, I was definitely, in that. I have not been to a Juneteenth festival in a while, though. I should go to one of them. But they're normally... You know what? I gotta do better about all kind of festivals because I don't be going. I sit in the house, okay? I sit in the house. But anywho, so there's always so much controversy about Juneteenth because it's the day that the slaves were freed. And there are people that are not happy that the slaves are free still, hey. And it's one of those times where your racist friends, when they start moving funny and talking funny, it's all what made you... I would just like for people to think for a second that when you're complaining about Juneteenth being a holiday, especially to somebody like me, who clearly has the ancestry, okay? African American. Through and through. Clearly got the ancestry here. When you're talking to me, complaining about the fact that my ancestors are free, you're essentially complaining that I'm not enslaved. And y'all, people always want to say, slavery was a long time ago. All right. talking about, forget about it. No. You don't even want me to be free. What do you mean, forget? I remember. My ancestors remember. I remember. Now, am I saying that I'm one of those people that, like, hold on to slavery and like, bring it up in every argument? No, I'm not. But I do believe that I've recently learned that slavery is not something that is, like, what people are taught about slavery is, like, I knew that they were teaching that they were, like, indentured servants now in, like, school, because before it was, like, this little paragraph in the Civil War. They would be like, oh, they wouldn't go into too much detail. Like, you wouldn't get into the rapings, the beatings, and, mutilation and all of that. They wouldn't get into that. Like, I knew that we didn't get into that in school. Like, you gotta read about that in different books. Understood. I couldn't understand why we were watching Hotel Rwanda in school. So, I understood that. Hotel Rwanda is very, very, very traumatizing. Okay? I want people to stop traumatizing kids. Hotel Rwanda, when they were going after people with machete, traumatized. Okay? Traumatized. But anyway, people get this extremely watered down version of slavery, and to a certain degree, I understand why some people don't understand it. Like, what are y'all so mad about? Like, yeah, you had to work hard in the fields or whatever, but you got free room and board. Barely. Like, don't get me started. Don't get me started. I wasn't even supposed to go on this rant about Juneteenth. I was supposed to say Happy Juneteenth and explain to y'all what it is, and that was supposed to be it. But here we are, like 8 minutes in. But anywho, Juneteenth is a special day. And I used to be one of those people that were like, because essentially Juneteenth is the day that the last of the slaves found out. And I used to be like, okay, why are we celebrating being late to the party? But you have to think about, like, the actual time. Like, okay, now, we got we have the social media and all of that. Like, how are they supposed to know? Honestly. And we celebrated because then everybody knew they were free. I mean, free-ish, because, the after slavery was a whole nother can of worms. And yet it's still. But, you know what? I digress. Today is actually Book Review Thursday. I pulled these books completely out of my ass. Not gonna hold you. I read these books. Well, The Captain's Claim by Katie Trapp. I read that one a long time ago, and I was supposed to review it a while back, a few months back, but it was a really great book, so I remember a lot of details about it. The Wrong Date Deal by Jacqueline Ramsden, and Our Sinful Love by Amy H. I think I threw that one on at, like, the last second. Like, Amy, how did you get here? How did you get here, Amy? I was supposed to do 2 books. 2. But what can I do? What can you do? So, The Captain's Claim by Katie Trapp. So that book is a fantasy. And I loved it was, there was magic, but it wasn't like overpowering in the book. The heroine, I want to say her name was Honey. This is why I should like read the synopsis or something, because what are the characters' names? I read so many books. What are their names? I want to say her name was Honey. But anyway, she was the classic, sunshine character. It is, I think it's a dark romance. I'm starting to wonder if my definition of dark romance and other people's definition of dark romance is not the same. Because people swear up and down that Inside Her is a dark romance, and I'm like, I mean, it got some heavy elements in it. But that book is, we won't discuss that book ever on here. Anyway, Captain's Claim. I thoroughly enjoyed that book, actually. And I'm going to try not to give too many, I'm going to try not to give spoilers. The captain, you find out, is actually pretty significant to the kingdom. And once you find out, it's like, how did you turn? How do we go from this to this? But anywho, what I did like, because, okay, so you guys know that in some books, when there's a sunshine character, there's, like, the character will be like a brat or whatever, and then they're, like, doing, like, the most ridiculous stuff. And it goes unchecked. There are no consequences to the actions. But let me tell you that in this here book, all of the consequences, okay? Like, she does the dumb stuff. She's young. I mean, I think she's like in her early 20s, maybe. But regardless of how old she is, she's super freaking young. And I always forget that, like, when I'm reading these characters, I'll be like, why are you being stupid? And then I think about the fact that when I was like 19 or 20, yeah, let's not talk about it. But anywho, what I liked about Katie, and the way that she wrote the book, is that the actions had consequences, which I appreciate. Like, I understand that it's the sunshiny character and all of that, but still, you should be held accountable, okay? I get it, you poop rainbows. I get it. No, I don't. My least favorite character is generally the sunshine character. And which is crazy, because that is all, like, whenever you could tell that a author has a favorite character, it is typically the sunshiny character. And I'm just like, ugh, this goody two shoes is getting on my nerves in real life. But anyway, Captain's Claim, highly recommend. Their love story, so a part of me is kind of like, if y'all weren't the only two women's on the ship, would y'all have still ended up together? But then I'd be like, that's how they ended up. That's just their origin story. Of course they would have ended up together still. They're destined. Team Destiny. I did. How do I say this without giving a spoiler? So there is a character that is a fairy. Does not have their wings. I do wish that at the end we could have abracadabraed her wings back because she deserved her wings. Okay? I wanted her wings back. Almost like it was a personal slight to me. Like they are my wings. She deserved her wings. Total pivot. Next book, The Wrong Date Deal. By Jacqueline Ramsden. I actually just read that one like last week or 2 weeks ago. I don't know. Last week was a blur. I was sick, like I said. So the last couple of weeks have been a blur. But The Wrong Date Deal. That book was a super cute little book, actually. And it did have some spice toward the end. But it was a super cute, kind of Hallmarky. Do I want to say Hallmark with an edge? I don't know. I really enjoyed it, though. Like, it wasn't, like, super predictable and all of that good jazz. Now, The Wrong Date Deal was cool. I enjoyed it thoroughly. The author had, like, it's a additional book where it's like a spinoff, a little short novella or whatever of two of the friends. It's called The Right Date. When I tell you that one threw me, like, okay, so when you read The Wrong Date Deal, it is like super sweet, you know, it has spice, but like everything is like super sweet. When I tell you that you'll be in for a surprise, okay? A surprise when you read The Right Date, because first of all, it's smut, okay? If that's not your thing, then it's not your thing. Like, don't read it, because that is all that it is. I think she's going to expand it to give it the plot that we deserve, because I was like, I want to know what happens. Like, I am super intrigued about what happens. What happens, lady? Is Jacqueline a lady? I want to say that Jacqueline goes by they, them. Did I make that up? I don't know. Listen, when I tell y'all that I get so much information plowed into my brain in a day because I consume so much media, it is probably a problem. But yeah. So then I definitely recommend reading The Wrong Date Deal and then reading The Right Date. And I signed up for her newsletter, or their newsletter. Now I'm going to be self-conscious about it. I have no idea. Am I misgendering somebody? My God, today. Why do I do this to myself? Anywho, I signed up for their newsletter. And I'm hoping that when the Right Date deal gets expanded, that they're like, hey, I need an ARC reader, beta reader, proofreader at this point, okay? Call me. I'm available. All right. And last but not least, again, Amy, how did you get here? I had 2 books. This was supposed to be short and sweet because, again, I am sick. Probably don't seem like it because I'm just talking. But, you know, I talk. It's what I do. Anywho, Our Sinful Love. So, it did take me a little bit to get into Our Sinful Love. Not because of anything with her writing or something with her writing. It was mainly because, trigger warning. There is some, it's based in it's either the 1940s or the 1960s. I think the dude was 66 when the book first opened. I want to say it was the 40s. Was it the 20s? See, that was such an insignificant part of the story for me that I cannot remember. But anyway, it was, back in them olden days. There was a lot of homophobia, internalized homophobia, and all of that. And it was when I was first starting to read it, it was right after the election. Well, not after the election, but after the inauguration. And I was things were pretty bad on, everybody was just letting their homophobia fly. And it was a scary time. I mean, it still is. I guess you get used to a new normal or whatever, but initially it was too much for me. So I will say tread with caution. But once you get into it, once I got into it, I really did enjoy it. I really did. My favorite character is, of course, Piet. And what I love so much about Piet is that he is such a serious character. He is, the way that he just presents himself. He is so serious, and people are just and of course, Kian is going to be he's more of the sunshiny character, which is crazy because when you think about his backstory, when you learn about his backstory, you're like, how are you sunshine and rainbows, sir? How? These are questions that need answers. I love that for you. I love that you can still, present yourself this way, but my God, today. At one point I was like, Jesus, Amy. Relax. This is why they are in a safe house, away from her. Because she don't know how to act. She don't know how to act. But I love Piet. He is such a serious character, but the way that he loves, he loves so hard, and there are no bounds to what he will do for the people that he loves. There's not an amount of money that he will not spend. There's not a activity that he won't do. He will be that guy in a 3-piece suit on a ski lodge, looking completely ridiculous. But if the man he loves said that he wanted to go skiing, that is what he is going to do. And I just love that. I do. I would say that I wish that I have that kind of love, but my wife has literally been driving me to work every day. Dropping me off. She is completely off work tomorrow. Still dropping me off. It is because I have been sick. I am going to keep reminding you guys of this. But anyway, this wraps up. I'll have all of the links to the books below. Our Sinful Love does have a sequel, Our Ordinary Love. I do not know when that is coming out. Stay tuned. The next book review is going to be, I'm definitely going to do Not What I Ordered by Raluca. I'm going to do that one. I feel like I was supposed to do it this week, but I haven't reread. I haven't read my ARC copy. And I feel like she said that some things had changed. So, that is on my to-do list. Let's see. This was supposed to be short and sweet, and I think that we got that. We're under 30 minutes. We'll see what we can do. Alright. I hope y'all feel better than I do. All the links will be down below if you need me. You know where to reach me. Alright. Peace, love, and hair grease peeps. Bye!